You're listening to The Building Code. I'm Tom Houghton.
I'm Paul Worth.
And today we have a special guest joining us all the way from Sydney, Australia, Jason Economos. Are you Greek?
Yeah, half Greek.
Half Greek.
Probably the Aussiest Greek you'll ever meet.
A half Greek Aussie.
That's fantastic.
What time is it there?
Mate, we're just rolling into 6 a.m.
I mean, that's a real
now.
fan right there.
That's dedication.
He's 6 a.m. and he's ready to go.
He's ready to go.
Perfect.
That's it.
So we
What do
typically
they say? Gets the worm?
early bird gets the worm. That's right.
That's it.
Early Aussie gets the worm.
Keep it straight. Keep it straight.
We have I'm actually been really impressed with the stats. We have probably about 10% of our listeners from Australia. And so we, of course, love you guys. And we appreciate your support. So tell your friends, all your Australia friends, New Zealand friends, anybody.
Yeah, I think
Will do.
a lot of our clients and prospects don't understand that Australia and New Zealand is a great market for us. It has been for probably, I would say, we took seriously marketing there and understanding feedback from our clients that it'll work really well there about 4 or 5 years ago. Today, we have a full team here in Omaha, Nebraska. We're in Central Time Zone that comes in at 4 p.m. Central and stays till 2 a.m. and both for onboarding, support, and selling Australia, New Zealand market.
Yeah, it's been great. I mean, the turnaround, we'll inquire about, we're relatively new with Buildertrend. We've only been using you guys for maybe the start of this year, so 3 or 4 months. And, we ask a lot of questions and we're very new to the program. So our coach is, same day reply. It's great feedback, it's great customer service on our end, especially being on the other side of the world.
Yeah. Have you ever, in your business, do you deal with any other software that is based in US or Canada, or is this the first time you've done something like this?
Not as much as interaction as Buildertrend is, but yeah, we do use Qubit as well, which is a part of a BuildSoft, which is integrated with the Buildertrend. But in terms of overseas as direct and speaking, every day with a rep, no, this is the first time really.
And so it was a pleasant surprise, the turnaround time.
Yeah, definitely.
Great.
Definitely. Of course, there's, a few questions with somewhere that's based on the other side of the world, but, it's just as easy. You guys could be 200 meters down the road. We'd never know.
Right. Exactly.
Except for the accent, right?
Except for the accent.
Tom is going to smile at everything like meters over miles.
This is my favorite podcast.
You
so
lived
far.
in the UK for a long time.
But Australia
this is
is
your first
different
time.
than England.
Okay.
Yeah, they're
right.
part of the Commonwealth.
Very different.
Yeah, part of the
I guess we
Commonwealth.
started
though.
from there, but
Yeah, exactly.
Started from UK, now you're down under.
Exactly.
that's it.
So, Jason, you're from Beyond Build Constructions. Tell us about your role there. Tell us about your team. Give us a rundown of the company.
Sure. So my current role is I've taken a step back from the on-site stuff. It's myself and my business partner, Mark. We usually have 3 projects running. Our market is the 3 to 500 grand renovations or, 3 to 5 months sort of projects where we've recently in the last 12 months or so expanded so we can be taking on these 3 projects at once. Mark, my partner, is full-time on the bigger one, more intricate. And we have 2 site foremans on the other 2 running them with a team. We currently have 5 apprentices, a school base who we have 1 day a week, first year apprentice, second year, third year, fourth year, 2 site foremans and a carpenter. So currently a team of 10. And my role now is, take a step back and trying to manage over the business instead of working in it, and make sure everything's running smoothly. Buildertrend's sort of helping us systemize processes in place. We've recently put on one of the girls in the office who takes care of majority of our marketing and a fair bit of admin stuff for us, taking another load off my shoulders and trying to, stop wearing so many hats in the business and focus on the things that we need to.
That's great. Yeah. One of the things we talk about a lot in our marketing team and in our sales division is this concept of the customer journey. So what was your journey as a business to know you were ready for that step of software? Like what issues were you having or what pain points were coming up where you and your business partner said, this is a good time for us to look at this?
Well, as being mainly office orientated these days, it's very hard for me to keep an eye on, the 3 jobs going, the scheduling as well as we're growing It's harder and harder to keep track. We've tried our Gantt charts on Excel. We've tried the boys just sending us daily emails, but we've sort of incorporated all this into the one-stop shop Buildertrend software. Using the daily logs, using the scheduling. We've systemized our sales process from an external software that I was using and incorporated that into Buildertrend. So that were the issues that we sort of had. Things were happening on site, deliveries were turning up, potentially could be wrong, and a lot of my time was spending most of the time on site, whereas now I can sort of keep an overview of everything from behind the desk.
So was it when you made that decision to go more in the office that you realized all these different gaps in your processes? Is that fair to say?
Yeah, definitely. You're a little bit naive to what's going on, but having a lot more time to sort of sit behind a desk in a controlled environment like the office. My normal day would be leave home around 5:30, do 3 site visits, get into the office by around 10 or 11, and then sort of trying to set my week for, Thursdays will be estimating and solely phone off, no emails, and just trying to get consistent processes in place.
You see how he slipped in the 5:30 a.m. thing there?
He did.
Bit of a humble brag.
Yeah.
Same here, though. No, I'm usually at the gym by 5.
Yeah.
Church by 7.
Mate, a lot of Australians are up at that time. The dogs are getting walked. Everyone's in their activewear, running along the beach. So it's a bit odd if you're not up that early. To be honest, out this way.
What is happening in Australia?
Yeah, it's pretty much the normal.
The early Aussie gets the win.
We got to get there.
Yeah, we do need to go down there.
Put it in the podcast budget.
Paul and Tom
on the
live
road
from Australia.
Can you see us like in a convertible, driving with the wind in my hair?
It wouldn't affect my hair,
though. It would
it's
not.
Too tight.
It would not. Yeah. Well, that's great. I think that is relatable to a lot of our clients, right? When you finally take some time to exactly what you said, to work on your business rather than in your business, or even better, just take that 30,000 foot view of like, where can we get better? Everybody can get better. We can get better. Yeah. So that's great to hear.
Let's talk a little bit. You mentioned you have a person that does marketing in the office. We're going to put a link to your website and then also to your Instagram because I loved your website. When you go there, this contact us form pops up with a video and it's just so dynamic. I absolutely love the use of video in it.
Sure.
You want to talk about you've got your video there. You've also got a great testimonial on there. What was the background on that and how has that benefited you guys?
Well, as we sort of expanding and more guys are coming onto the team and my role's, not directly hammering in nails, standing frames and hanging doors anymore, we realized that we're trying to become more of a volume builder. So we've got to sort of invest in our marketing and build the brand as well. We find videos very engaging. They're quite popular especially in Sydney. So we're investing. We've got a great guy that, comes out post-job and got the drone going and they're all on our socials and website as I'm sure you've seen. But we find the great feedback from the videos and it just sort of that point of difference between, every other building company in Sydney. But yeah, we sort of found the value in investing a bit in, get the website up and running to bring in more leads and socials are, it's super important in this day and age. And we found that sort of niche in the market now that, we feel like if you're not doing it in 5 or 10 years, you're really going to be left behind.
Mm-hmm.
Definitely.
That's a common theme.
Yeah.
Every time we've interviewed a client on this podcast, the category of lead management, getting your leads, how you manage them, and then social is always just mixed in.
Yeah. So you guys are outsourcing video production, and what about the Instagram stuff? Are you guys doing that in-house?
Yeah, so we've got an in-house marketing manager she works for us 3 days a week. She's in here. She does a bit of admin as well, but she organises all the videos. She's got the 3 guys on site these days to ramp up our Instagram stories. So they're sending through short videos every day of, the main sort of changes or the exciting stuff happening on site. A few photos where she'll then edit them, cut them, put a little title page with their face and introduce the job, and then just keep the keep the flow going, and we just sort of, want to keep those stories at the top of everyone's list. And, just she analyzes our traffic on our website and Instagram and Facebook sort of at the end of every week, and tracks our leads and says, look, this is, we want to keep this relevant. We need more videos for this, work on this content and go from there. So we've definitely found, not so much, well, not solely leads coming through, but, just building that brand, and we're becoming more and more, known around the area. We're getting, sort of 3 or 4 job applications every fortnight from apprentices or carpenters, and which is a huge thing for us. I mean, 12 months ago, we were paying, $500 for an ad to sit on there for 2 weeks, and we were getting 1 or 2 people inquiring, and then, no shows and whatnot. So it's funny how finding the value in investing in this sort of stuff now, it's not just that direct lead magnet. It's more for recruiting as well.
Yeah, I thought that was a great wrinkle we need to bring to the audience, is that it's not just brand awareness. We talk about that, and we always talk about that framed inside the lead. But everybody in the United States and Canada I can speak to, I don't know your market well enough. There is a labor shortage. There is an employee shortage. They're struggling recruiting people to come work for their business. 100% across the line.
Sure.
Every business I've talked to says that in construction. So that's really
cool.
The
the Sydney market in the last 10 years has increased by about 110%. I'm not sure if you guys are aware, but there's been a huge increase in the market. The median house price in 2012 was around 550,000. At the end of 2017, it was double. You couldn't average house price in Australia, in Sydney, is over $1 million.
Mm-hmm.
And so we've had this great, amount of growth over the last 10 years. We're fortunate enough to begin our business around 3 years ago, sort of towards the back end, but enough to get some traction. But look, in the last sort of 12 months or so, we've sort of canned foreign investment. So the market is slowly declining at the moment, and who knows what we're in for in the next 12 months or so, because we've had such rapid growth. So look, we're 2 years ago we sort of anticipated this time, so that's why we're trying to build our brand at the peak and to try and keep the foot on the pedal. We're that's definitely where we're at.
So let me get this straight. Sydney, Australia, beautiful weather. Everybody wakes up at 5 a.m. They're all working out and running their dogs, so they're all in great shape, and they're all super rich because they live in $1 million homes. Does that sum it up?
I don't know about the super rich part, but the other's pretty accurate. I mean,
the average home price is $1 million.
They're doing something
that's
right.
Correct. Look, the baby boomers and the people above our generation, anyone that's had their house and bought a house for 500,000-600,000 8-10 years ago, yes, it's valued at $1 million now, so there's a bunch of equity sitting there. But for people that are quite younger and haven't tapped into that market, it can be a bit of a hard slog, over the next 5 years or so. But yeah, look, I wouldn't say super rich. I mean, a lot of people have sort of bought at their maximum budget, which is sort of reflecting on the building market. I mean, repayments on $1 million mortgage, it's not an easy feat by any means, but yeah, it's definitely had some rapid growth here in Sydney.
That's
for sure.
great. It's amazing.
I want to try to use that as a transition because you're talking about their kind of budgets and their maxes there. You guys offer a guarantee, a couple guarantees on your websites. Can you
Yes.
Inform the listeners on that?
We have a communication guarantee, which at the end of usually weekly, maybe a Friday morning, we organise a walkthrough with a director, either myself or Mark, my business partner, to walk through the job with the client, which we have now incorporated Buildertrend to do as much. And look, any variations, I believe you guys call them change orders.
Yeah. Yep.
But any variations we keep track of, and post meeting we'll send a complete variation form or any changes or an update. We've actually incorporated Buildertrend with this communication guarantee, where the online portal for our clients, and so far great feedback. We're still in that setup period, so we're no whizzes by any means, but it's definitely a great part of the sales pitch as well, where these guys want to keep an eye on their house without, sort of sets the tone as well for no random pop-ins or rocking up at 6 o'clock at night and falling down a bunch of stairs that, may be unsafe to an owner. Second guarantee is we offer an independent building inspector to come through on completion. This is different to a certifier. It's not compulsory, but we find, he might pick us up on certain little defects that we might have missed, maybe in the plaster, but it sort of draws that line in the sand between our clients and us as the builder, which, it's a fair playing field and it's a bit of peace of mind for them as well. The third one is a fixed build time guarantee where whatever we negotiate and is on our contract, we will complete within that time. Obviously, unforeseen circumstances such as weather may reflect on this build time, but as an overall, the client is then compensated into external accommodation or whatever it is. But yeah, they're our sort of company guarantees and policies.
That's great.
I think it's fantastic. It's a great way to make sure that you're keeping those budgets in mind. I think it gives the consumer a lot of peace of mind. And I think, again, it sets you guys apart as an excellent builder to choose.
Well, in a previous episode, we were talking about how clients are underwhelmed by the communication during the job in this industry as a general rule. And so first I've ever heard of the communication guarantee. That is gold, I think, for people to apply here. Mm. You don't mind if people in the U.S. steal that, right?
No, not at all.
No,
Go for it. That's fine. Yeah, sure. Yeah.
No, so
put a little Beyond Build trademark at the bottom of it and we're laughing.
We could do that.
There you go.
So the communication guarantee, in all seriousness, what is behind that? What are the consequences for your business if you don't follow through? Or is that just a marketing way to say that we're going to have weekly meetings?
Yeah, essentially. I mean, it draws that line in the sand for, hey, Friday mornings or whatever day it may be, this is when we speak about this. It gives us, we found that week is enough time. So if, we might get all the frames up and they might, change the depth of one of their linen cupboards or whatever it sort of is, internal framing, and it sort of gives us enough time to change things without, ripping apart, I don't know, essentially taking a roof off because they want to change it or whatever it could be. So found that weekly, probably the sort of perfect time. Obviously, if they do want to meet up and confirm windows or, tile layouts, whenever it is, we organise a meeting with them. But yeah, we found some great feedback because, as you said, one of the biggest flaws that a lot of companies do face, I believe, is communication between their clients. Not all clients have building backgrounds, and there's a lot of jargon and lingo that gets thrown around that they may not understand. So, we just take a step back, really, give them the time of day to explain every sort of process that's happening and what's going on.
I think it's fantastic.
Yeah. Let's talk about some trends that are happening in Sydney. We kind of like to try to keep a pulse on what's happening around the world. We were talking in an earlier episode about what's happening in Arizona. So I'd love to know, what you think, in your opinion, are some hot trends that you're seeing down there.
You mean like design?
Design, build?
Sure.
Anything.
Yeah. I mean, look, the duplex market, semis, detached, has been a huge popularity in the last sort of 7 or 8 years. Obviously sitting on, anything over 600 square meter block. I don't know how to transfer that to square feet, but
don't worry about it.
Okay, good.
Yeah.
But look, anyone pretty much with a 12 meter frontage or 600 square meter block has the ability to lodge a development application to knock their house down and put 2 on there, which a lot of clients were either, renting one out or selling both. A lot of developers were sort of flipping them as they went. That's sort of slowed down a little bit. It's a bit trickier to do to make money, but that's definitely been a huge trend, especially in our area in the last 12 months. Look, the Hampton style, timber cladding type look is very, very popular in Sydney. It's a great trend happening. Finding a lot of off-form concrete, polished concrete floors, retaining walls, all concrete. Very, very popular as well. But yeah, that's pretty much current trends, I'd say, in the Sydney market. But forever adapting, forever new products coming out. We've obviously durability is pretty big here in Australia. We've got 40-degree Celsius days and in the sun and all throughout summer, so it's quite.
Is that hot?
The weather plays a lot on durability as well.
That's hot.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So if you're always in a warm climate, do you get a lot of indoor outdoor
living spaces?
Open? What would you call that? Like.
Yeah, for sure. Cross ventilation can be quite quite popular as well. Having two windows opposite side, or big pitched cathedral ceilings are great these days. People are including highlight louvers up there to let the hot air out. But look, all our homes are custom designed with a thing called a BASIX, which is basically a schedule which tells you which thermal elements you can and can't use just to beat the heat. Probably something similar to you guys have for the cold, I'd imagine, but there's not too much snow in Sydney. So it's probably sort of the opposite. But yeah, it's definitely, you wouldn't build a house these days without aircon in there, that's for sure.
For sure. Yeah. You guys just came off a record summer heat there.
Yeah.
I mean, I feel like all over the news people were.
Tommy Research.
I love Australia.
You're our research wing, I guess. It's a podcast. Unbelievable.
Yeah, no, it's spot on. Look, we're all year round. I'm not sure how you guys do it up there, but I'd imagine snow would reflect on, it's going to be pretty hard to be framing outside in the snow, I'd imagine.
It does. It makes
I'm assuming you guys probably try and get things locked up through the winter and then internally through the summer.
Yep.
However, here it's sort of all year round. Doesn't rain too much, but when it does, we just try and make sure that we've got another job at a different stage than the other job. So if we have to, we can drag the boys internally or vice versa. But yeah, can get quite warm, but I mean, we're sort of accustomed to it and used to it.
Yeah. So obviously with all the heat, how much are you guys using alternative energy like solar?
Sure. It's definitely becoming more and more popular. For sure. Solar panels, government rebates are coming out. We've seen a few off-the-grid sort of Tesla batteries being installed, starting to become into the market.
You said the bingo word for Tom.
Really?
He hears Tesla, and he's got an ear-to-ear grin on right now.
That's a bingo.
Technology.
That's it. It's exciting times. I mean, if you can get your house off the grid, it's all the better. Trying to be environmentally friendly, obviously, but sustainable energy is quite big in Australia, and in the next 10 years, exciting to see where it's going to go as well.
I like to stay off the grid.
For sure.
Yeah.
You
like to stay off the grid.
I don't want the man knowing where I'm at.
Yeah, that's a different type of grid.
Oh, that was you're talking about something else. Oh, okay. I got you.
Let me ask you one more question here real quick.
Sure.
You obviously just started with Buildertrend. You've been doing this a couple months. What's the process been like getting started, but how do you feel like it's impacted your business?
Sure. So look, as with any software, it's hard to implement. In our minds, I was like, righto, we heard a bit of feedback from Buildertrend, so looked into it, looked into, a few video tutorials and thought we'd give it a crack. I sort of had a few team meetings here in the office and just showed everyone, and it was just very versatile, very easy to use. The daily logs, the boys are all over it. They've all got iPads on site. It's just, recording everything, our stats, what's working, what's not working. Very, very user-friendly software to use. And as I said, it's integrated with our accounting software being Xero and our estimation software being Qubit. It's taken off my existing sales process, and it's actually relatively easy to introduce, and pretty proud of the boys and everyone, how everyone's, just adapted to it, and it's, couldn't be happier with it, to be honest. And it seems like it's forever being updated. And, Ryan, our coach, I asked him to integrate one of our spreadsheets, which was our daily logs, into the program, which he did. 6-7 hours later, he had it in there, and it was, you can't ask for much better customer service than that, for sure.
A lot about our customer service team, Buildertrend coaches. Good on you, boys. That's right. Right?
Hats off.
Did I use that correctly? Good on ya?
Good on ya.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Perfect.
Cheers, fellas.
That's great. Well, that's really a great story. That's an ideal situation too. If you ever want to accelerate your knowledge of Buildertrend, you could pack the boys up, fly to Omaha, Nebraska for Buildertrend University. We would have lots of beers. We'll pick a summer month,
Summer, not your summer.
Our summer, yeah. But come on, actually,
sure.
we're getting our first Buildertrend University attendee next month is coming from Australia. So There you go.
Okay.
I'm
jealous.
Yeah.
Me to it.
Well, we're really happy to have you on the system. I think this was good. I think most of our clients that we've talked to or interviewed on the podcast have been with us a long time. And so this is great to hear your side of it, not only the Australia angle and how it still works for you and Australian and New Zealand companies, but this onboarding story of like, I think everybody thinks it's going to be a bear to implement. And quite honestly, that's fair, because when you talk about changing so many parts of your business, you probably naturally think, well, this is going to be a long time. But if we do our job, which I think our engineering team does and our product team does, both from a product point of view, but also an onboarding support point of view, then hopefully it makes your job of getting it implemented in your business a little easier. So it's great to see that.
Sure. We figured that, it's easy to introduce these systems in place now while we're relatively small and intimate, and now have the capacity to grow. And instead of me teaching the guys how to do it, the foremans are then teaching the carpenters, who are then teaching the apprentices. And, it's just that sort of on-flow support. And, it's a lot easier to grow, and everyone just knows the procedures and knows how to use the program. So, yeah, I couldn't be happier.
And you only signed up a fortnight ago.
No, that's not correct.
I just want to call back to that because he's just giggling every time you say something like that. So what is a fortnight?
It's 14 days.
That's it?
Like 2
14
weeks.
days, yeah.
Yeah.
I thought it was like a quarter. I thought it was 3 months. Is that a different thing?
That's a quarter.
That's quarter, it's 3 months. Yeah.
Okay. Why?
A quarter here is the same thing as quarter there.
Not actually with monetary though.
Well, sure, not.
Gotcha.
Yeah. We were talking about Australian dollars earlier.
I just spun you in a pretzel there.
I think you guys have us on the dollar front.
I was curious on the whole marketing thing, on the whole video side of things. Are you aware of Aussie Man reviews?
I sure am.
Yeah?
Yeah, he's
you want to
he's hilarious, eh?
He is great. If you ever, if you guys ever want to do a video, we could do like a spin-off of that for Buildertrend. I think that would be hilarious.
Yeah.
Do you want to fill anybody else in besides you and Jason here?
We can organise a few kangaroos. We're forever shooing them off site, so we can incorporate them in the video, no problem.
Are you serious?
Yeah.
Yeah, a little bit.
What is Aussie Man Review?
We'll put it in the show notes.
Okay.
A link to
just a little teaser then.
It's just a little
Put
teaser.
it in the show notes.
Yeah.
I love it.
We'll put it in the show notes. I would love to see this is also a new problem that you guys have. Put shooing kangaroos off the job site. That's a great blog title,
That is. That's like an Onion story.
That's right. I think I've exhausted all my questions.
And your knowledge of Australia, it seems like it's endless. So it's unbelievable.
Well, I try.
It's impressive.
Yeah.
It just shows you how much I love Australia.
Well, I guess we're going.
Hey, you're more than welcome.
We're coming.
Mate, we got a spare room here in the office. Come over. We'll go to the university. You guys come here to Sydney and,
Love it.
We'll do a bit of an exchange sort of thing.
Sounds perfect.
Yep, done.
Cultural learning.
Lock it in.
Great. Jason, thanks so much for being on the podcast. Our first Aussie podcast listener on, but not our last.
Jason, thanks so much for joining us today on the podcast. We really appreciate your time, sharing your knowledge, and just giving us a glimpse into what's happening down there in Sydney. Thanks so much for being here. Don't forget to check out the show notes for more information about everything we've talked about, including Aussie Man reviews.
Yeah, for sure.
Paul can't wait to check that one out.
And his website, where he does have a cool video.
And their Instagram channel will be on there as well. So
Thanks for having us, guys. It's been an absolute pleasure.
Same here on this side of the ocean.
Make sure you check out our show notes page. Also, don't forget to subscribe and rate our podcast. Thanks so much for listening, and we'll see you next time on The Building Code.
Appreciate you.